Hey fellow Vodwares, it's Angry Turtle, and in this video we'll be going over the best perks, and actually we'll be going over every single perk because a lot of them is still up to this day causing confusion, mainly because description of those perks are not always very accurate. Sometimes they are very accurate, but not always, and sometimes they're very misleading. Then there's basically too many perks to go over every single one in one video. Then this is a part 1. And here we go. I will take them in the order that they appear when you are going to select a new perk. Then we have Bandolier. Rank 1 is 45% less weight of your ammo. Rank 2 it will be 90%. And rank 2 is amazing. Basically you will be able to carry 10 times more ballistic ammo than otherwise. And ballistic ammo it will be every like 556, 0.45, 0.308 and so on. Then next we have Barbarian, one of the best perks for every strength based build that is not using power armor, as it says in here, no power armor. As basically even rank 1 will give you 40 damage resistance, just one single perk when you have 20 strength. Max out it will give you 80 damage resistance if you have 20 strength. It's really not hard to have 20 strength with strength based build. Next, Basher, one of the most useless perks, just don't take it. Bear Arms. This okay perk, if you have a lot of heavy guns, it's do exactly what it says, and if you decide to use it, you should go for max rank. Because basically, if you go for rank 2, you can carry about twice as many heavy guns. If you go for max rank, you can carry 10 times more heavy guns. Then that's a huge difference. And Slugger. Pretty straightforward perks. If you are using two-handed weapons, take it, it increases your damage. Max rank will give 20%, then rank 1 gives much more. If you don't have room for max out perks, Slugger, Master Slugger, Expert Slugger, take rank 1 first of every single one of those. Blocker. That's an amazing perk. That's very good perk. Must have for every non-sneak character. Max out because of how damage is calculated in this game. If you max out this perk, you will be basically taking like almost no damage from melee attacks of your enemies compared to being one hit by melee attack of enemies. Then that's a huge difference. Next we have Bullet Shield. That's a perk that looks awesome, but in practice is not very good. You shouldn't take it unless you are using Gatling gun without power armor and you are shooting it almost all the time. Then it can be justified. Otherwise, no. Really, it's the last one that you need. Gladiator, it's similar to Slugger, but for one-handed weapons. Straightforward, doesn't require any other explanation. It's the same like Slugger. Heavy Gunner, it's damage-related perks, but for heavy guns. And now, what you need to know about this one. As you can see, it says your non-explosive heavy guns. And for some people, it's causing confusion. But what they mean by that? It's mean that heavy guns that natively are non-explosive. What mean if a heavy gun, non-legendary version, is not explosive, let's say 50 cal, then this perk will apply even if you will find a legendary version that says that it comes with explosive bullets. Legendary effects does not neglect this perk. You still use Heavy Gunner even if you have legendary effect explosive bullets. It's basically the same but upgrade and one more upgrade. The same stuff. Incisor. That's a great perk for melee attackers. Regardless if you use unarmed, if you use one-handed, two-handed, power armor, non-power armor, it works in all those cases. And especially useful versus bosses. Like versus enemies that you will one hit regardless if you have it equipped or not, it's not needed. But versus bosses like Scorchbeast Queen, this is an amazing perk and it will increase your damage greatly. Much more than any other perk that you can take for 3 points. Then we have Iron Fist. That's a lonely perk for unarmed characters, and although it says punching attacks. In reality, it applies to every unarmed weapon, every fist weapon otherwise. Like, let's say, more minor gauntlet. You clearly swing this weapon, but it's still an armed weapon and will benefit from Iron Fist. Then we have Lock and Load. Straightforward perk. If you need to reload faster, take it. Although I do not recommend it. Martial Artist. That's a great perk for every melee build. And the weight is not a big part of that. But faster swing speed, it's mean that basically you will hit enemy before he can hit you. What means he will be dead and you will be alive. That's a huge difference. Ordnance Express. If you intend to carry a lot of explosive, grenades, mini nukes, missile, that's your friend, max it out. Packrat. This perk is a little bit different than every other perk that reduces the weight. Basically, it's maxed out at 75%, what means we'll be able to carry 4 times more junk than otherwise without maxed out Packrat. But if you have one piece of armor that reduces the weight of the junk and you will add maxed out Packrat, you will be able to carry 10 times more junk. It's how it works. Then, in some situation when you go for junk farming or lead farming, it is useful. Pain Train, not very useful perk, although fun to use. You basically sprint in your power armor and enemies are getting staggered and getting a little bit of damage. Although does not work on bosses. It's not stated in here, but bosses are immune on this effect, then you can only use it versus regular mobs. Next, Scattershot. This is the first one for shotguns, and it reduces weight and allows them to reload faster. If you have like 2 shotguns or 3 shotguns, it's not necessary, especially if you are running Mutation Speed Demon. Otherwise, useful. It's nothing special, but it's good. Shotgunner. There's a straightforward perk boosting damage of your shotguns like every other damage related perk, then does not require any more explanation. There is upgrade and another upgrade for the same thing. Strongback. It's directly increasing your carry weight up to 40 if you max this perk card out, although you will be much better if you choose perks that are reducing weight of your stuff rather than add a little bit of a carry weight. Then I do not recommend this one. Sturdy Frame, that's only for armor, regular armor, and max out only 50%. Not great. Oh, and if you want to use it because you are a sneak build, reducing weight of your armor does not improve your ability to sneak. Then it's not very useful. Full Charge. If you are low on fusion cores and you intend to sprint a lot, I sprint always, but I never low on fusion cores. Yeah, in this specific situation that you low on fusion cores, you can consider using that. Dowling Pharmacy. That is an amazing perk. Allows you to carry insane amount of Stimpack, Psychotats, any other chems you want, Radaways, Radexes, Rad Shields, everything. The best stuff, it's under Dowling Pharmacy. I'm using it almost all the time. Expert Gladiator, that just upgrade for Gladiator and another upgrade and upgrade for Slugger and another upgrade for Slugger. That's straightforward. Let's go for the next category. Perception. Awareness. This perk is not very useful on everyday gameplay, but I still using it occasionally to check out what is the specific resistance for enemies. Not in combat though, I'm using it when I'm going and doing some research. It's useful for research, not useful at all for daily basis. Commando. That's what I need to say. Some people are asking how I know if my weapon is commando or rifle. Then basically, if it's automatic rifle, it's under commando, and it depends on your receiver. The same rifle, like say combat rifle, can be under commando if you put automatic receiver, or can be under rifleman if you put semi-auto receiver. Basically, if you hold your trigger and your rifle keep firing, then that's under commando. And apart from that, straightforward damage boost, 3 of those like with every damage related perks. Concentrated Fire. That's one of the best perks. What it does, I do recommend to upgrade it to rank 3. Basically at rank 3, every next shot will have 20% higher hit chance. Like let's say first shot is only 20, but next shot will be already 40, then another shot will be 60, and so on. Apart from that, it's slightly increasing the damage. Actually is flat 1% per star. Then you will have 1% damage increase with 1 star. Max out perk will give you 3% damage increase after the first shot. First shot is normal damage. After that you have 3% more damage if this perk card is maxed out, and it remains 3%. If there is 10 shot after, it's still only 3% bonus damage flat. Then that's not huge, although it allows you to target specific limbs, like instead in case of humanoids, head will be a weak spot and will double up your damage. Although not for every enemy head will be a weak spot, like never shoot assaultrons in the head. You will do half of your normal damage instead of doing more. Then we have Crack Shot. This is interesting perk. I will not say very useful, although in some situation you can make use out of it. At max rank, it will increase range of your pistols by 30% when you aim down the sight. Then basically if you press whatever your button is to aim, this perk will be applied. It doesn't matter if your pistol have reflex sight or a scope. It's no difference. But you need to aim, and it's usually triggered after about 1 second from when you press the aim button. Then press the aim button, wait 1 second, then you fire and you have this extra range. And as well accuracy. Accuracy means that you will exactly hit where you are aiming. Exterminator. As you can see, your attacks ignore armor of an insect. But what this card will not tell you, Myrlooks like Myrlook Kings, Myrlook Queens count under this perk card as insect for whatever reason. Max out Exterminator gives you 75% armor penetration for Myrlook Kings and Myrlook Queens, what makes this card very good, but in the same time situational. Next one we have Fire in the Hole, and it's doing exactly what it says. You can throw grenades farther and you will be able to see where your grenade is going. Next we have Glow Sight, another card that's very good, but as well similar to Exterminator, situational, because it will increase your damage, but only versus glowing enemies. Although you need to know that there is much more glowing enemies than Myrlooks overall. Next, Green Thumb. That's an amazing perk when you need to craft something or collect some, let's say, pumpkins for your daily. Then this card as well is situational but amazing. If you are going, like, let's say, after stable flaxes and you need to collect all this raw flax, this perk card is your friend, double up. Grenadier. Your explosive have more radius and max out, which will double out the radius, but what's important, similar to what I said about heavy gunners earlier, it only applies to natively explosive weapons like grenades, rocket launchers, grenade launchers, but it will not apply, let's say, to a 50 cal that have explosive bullets. Explosive bullets will not be affected by Grenadier. Then it's only for natively explosive weapons. Next we have Ground Pounder. That's an amazing perk for commando build that is not going to use VATS all the time. If you want to hip fire, this improves the hip fire accuracy by a lot. Max out perk, your reload speed will be great and accuracy impressive. You need to try it. Next we have Long Shot. That's similar to Crack Shot that we already talked about, but this one is for rifles. Works exactly the same, but with rifles. Night Eyes. Basically whenever you crouch and it's night, it means between 6 PM and 6 AM, your screen will get a little bit brighter. not very useful. I was trying it, not very useful for me. Although, it's hard to definitely tell if it will be useful for you or not. Night Person. You will get intelligence and perception between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Generally bad card, but like now when we have a double experience weekend, you can utilize it to get even more experience during the night just because of this intelligence. It's not a lot, and it requires you to actually invest in card that's otherwise useless, but it's something worth to mention. Butcher's Bounty. As this card says, you will find more meat on animals you will slay. But there is some important note. In the past there was a search button. Now this card works automatically, but you need to know that if you take a look on that animal that you killed without this card and then you try to equip this card, it will not work. You need to have this card equipped when you go and kill those animals. Then it will work. Picklock. We have 3 of those, and basically one card allows you to unlock Picklock 1, and all those 3 cards equipped allows you to unlock Picklock rank 3. A lot of cards to do the one thing. Refractor. This one gives you a little bit of energy resistance, and it's quite useless because there is not too many enemies that can do a lot of damage with energy. Basically, like, there is only Assaultron and it's Death Ray, Laser of Death. But apart from that, maybe if you are doing a lot of PvP, because people are using energy weapons mainly in PvP. Other than that, I'm not using this one, and I cannot recommend. Rifleman, the same situation like with Commando, but this one is for semi-automatic rifles. Whenever you push a trigger, it shoots once. That's when this perk card applies. And you have Expert and Master to boost your damage even further. Then we have Skid Shooter. This is great for hip firing with shotguns, although it does not apply for VATS. If you are using your shotgun mainly in VATS, this perk does nothing for you. Then we have Sniper, and honestly it's useless perk. You can put stabilized mode on your armor arms and you will achieve exactly the same effect as holding the breath. And all this card is doing, it allows you to hold the breath for longer by aiming to scope. That's a waste of 3 perk points. Then we have Tank Killer. That's great. That's a great card. And what's important, it's working on both semi and automatic rifles. Then you want to take it regardless if you are using Commando or Rifleman. This will penetrate 36% of your enemy armor at max rank. There is small chance to stagger, but important part is armor penetration. Yes, you want it if you are using rifles. Panapictagraphist. You hear directional audio when in range of magazine. To be honest, magazines sometimes are really hard to spot. When I was hunting after magazines, I was using this. The same situation with Perceptibobble and Fortune Finder. Those are typical farming cards. If you are going on your farming route, you do not need damage or any other perks, equip this trio. Bow Before Me. That's equivalent of Tank Killer, but for bows and crossbows. Then that's it, what I have to say about it. Then we have Archer, that equivalent of Rifleman, but for bows and crossbows. And that was a lot of perk cards for episode 1. And another reason I don't want to go through more, apart from video being extremely long, I want to have opportunity to answer your questions. Therefore, if you have any questions about perks under strength or perception, please go into comment section and I will do my best to answer those questions. And in the meantime, thank you a lot for watching and see you guys in the next one.